talking about collections and the things we keep. This is our February 2021 online senior library program. And this is brought to you by our Outreach and Extension Department at the Tiffin-Seneca Public Library. So today we're going to be focusing on those objects that bring us joy, magic, and meaning. So let's talk about collections. What collections do you have or have you had in your life? How did you start the collections? Maybe they started out as a gift and then you kind of went from there and started collecting more of a single item. Maybe it was an emotional collection. Maybe you got something from a parent or grandparent and then you started collecting more of that item. Do you still have the collection today? Is it displayed in your home, or maybe you have it in storage? And have you given away any collections? Maybe you regret giving away a collection. Maybe you had it at one time and then you gave it away and then you kind of regret giving that away. You kind of wish you would have kept it. Maybe you had to give some stuff away. Maybe you were downsizing, or maybe you had to move into a smaller house and you had to kind of downsize some of your possessions. So those are all things we're going to talk about a little bit later in the slides. So those are questions to kind of think about in the back of your mind, and we'll bring them up here in a minute. So the history of collecting. In the 19th century, the aristocratic collectors were the most common, as their collections were perceived as a status symbol. They collected art, fossils, books, zoological specimens, and other objects that were popular at the time. The Victorian era aristocracy kept these items in what was called a cabinet of curiosities. So the cabinet, or the special room designated for displaying and storing these collectibles, that was what was called the cabinet of curiosities. Many of these cabinets contributed to the establishment of the first museums over in Europe. So since the introduction of the cabinet of curiosities, people all over the world have become curators of varied objects. Here's some pictures of different collections, those cabinet of curiosities in Europe. Different ones people had, different specimens. So why do we collect things? Research suggests that people collect things because they feel an emotional connection to the subject matter. People are more likely to begin a collection once they possess two of one item. People often start their collections as children, and they grow out of them sometimes, or sometimes they keep it up for many years to come. People can collect almost anything from baseball cards, postage stamps, coins, photographs, and dolls, to unique items such as decorative glass, oil cans, vintage artwork. Some people collect as a hobby to display in a decorative space in their home, and others collect for the challenge and reward of finding rare and unique items. So here's a picture of a collection this lady has of Zelda. It's a video game. Maintaining a collection. People devote great amounts of time, money, and energy to making and maintaining a collection. People collect things for pleasure and for profit. So enjoyment and nostalgia collections, anyone who collects for enjoyment is considered an amateur collector. The value of these collections are not monetary, but more emotional. These collections allow people to relive their childhood or a specific period in time they feel very strongly about. These collections help keep the past in the present. They also ease insecurity and anxiety of the collector about losing a part of themselves. So profit and prestige collections, those who collect for profit are considered professional collectors. Some collect for the thrill of the hunt, or to have the largest collection of something. Collecting can be a quest, a lifelong pursuit, which can never be completed. So here's this gentleman's collection of Mario, which is also a video game. So American Pickers, it's from the History Channel. There's a show. It follows antique and collectible pickers Mike Wolf and Frank Fritz, who travel around the United States to buy or pick various items for resale for clients or for their personal collections. And Danielle, the girl pictured here, Danielle Colby, she runs the office of Wolf's business in Iowa, and more recently, a second location in Nashville, Tennessee. So these would be considered professional collectors because they are collecting for profit. The endowment effect to collecting. So this describes a person's tendency to value something the more they own it. This helps to explain why we collect items, because we value them the longer we have them in our possession. The contagion effect to collecting is when a person collects maybe a celebrity's belongings and they see them as to be infused with that person's essence. So maybe they will collect clothing from a celebrity or something like that. In the one slide here you see there's a picture of Elvis's jacket. The hoarding effect to collecting. So hoarding is kind of the dark side of collecting. Hoarders can start as collectors, but the compulsion takes over their lives. A person may begin to hoard because they believe an item they've collected or are considering collecting may be valuable or useful at some point in time. They may also connect the item from a person or a significant event that they don't want to forget. Hoarders often live with their collected items at the expense of their own needs. So, for example, they may forego using their refrigerator because their kitchen space has become blocked with items. Or they may choose to live with a broken appliance or without heat, rather than let somebody into their home to repair the problem. The behaviors associated with hoarding can be an extreme variation on compulsive buying. And compulsive buying, in turn, is closely related to other major mental health disorders. Hoarding can be an unhealthy coping mechanism for managing anxiety and fear of losing control. TV shows like The Hoarders, it is an American reality TV series on A&E, and they depict the real-life struggles and treatment of people who suffer from that compulsive hoarding disorder. So the things we keep, this is the second part of our online program here. We're going to be talking about the objects that bring us joy, magic, and meaning. So the drive to have less stuff or downsizing has caused us to keep only what is precious to us. There's a shift in society towards valuing experiences over things. The whole tiny house shift as well. So what is a single object in your life that carries the most emotional significance? What would you take, for example, if there was a fire or a flood or a tornado? What would you need to take with you? What is the story behind that one object? So that's what we will be talking about in our program. We're going to have a library program via Zoom, and it's called What We Keep. So the objects that bring us joy, magic, and meaning, we're going to be talking about those objects. That will be Tuesday, February 23rd, and the program will be held as a Zoom meeting. So at 2 o'clock, that's when our Outreach seniors, that will be our program, and we will get on at the different senior living facilities and different area senior apartments, and you can get on Zoom if you would like and talk about that object if you would like to. And then there's also a 6:30 adult program as well. So in the book, they said over 3 years, we interviewed hundreds of people about the object in their life that holds the most emotional significance. We collected their stories in a book. So the picture of the book cover is over here, and you see here What We Keep. So So the question that we will be considering, of all that you own, what object means the most to you and why? So this program was inspired by that book that we talked about, and it's by Bill Shapiro and Naomi Wax. So you can read some of the essays and view the objects on the book's website if you would like. That's www.whatwekeep.org. So we are asking people to think about the question of all the things that you own, what object means the most to you and why? So those attending the program will be asked to briefly share the object that means the most to them. They may show the object on camera if they have it with them. And we are not asking them to share anything of great monetary value. In fact, not one of the hundreds of people interviewed for the book chose an item because of its monetary value. It was the story behind the object, maybe who gave it to them, or when they got it, or what it represented, that made it worth keeping. So to register for this program, you'll need to see your activity director at your facility, or you can visit our website at www.Tiffin-Seneca-library.org. You can also give us a call and ask about the program as well. So here's a little bit about the authors. Bill Shapiro, he was a former editor-in-chief of Life magazine, the founding editor of Life.com, and born in Los Angeles, 1965. He wrote 2 books, Other People's Love Letters, and Gus and Me. That one he co-authored. It's a children's book. He curates fine art photography exhibits, and he also serves on the art advisory board of SXSW. This is Naomi Wax. Her writings have appeared in many publications, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, all the ones listed here. She's also co-author of Cool Women, The Thinking Girl's Guide to the Hippest Women in History, and several children's books as well. She talks a little bit about her MFA in creative nonfiction. So that's all about her. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so you can see me. Behind here, we have some books that you might be interested in. You know, with the new year, a lot of times we have New Year's resolutions and we think about, you know, maybe we want to get organized this year. Maybe we want to start a collection, or maybe we want to take our collection and organize it in some way. So here are some different books that we have at the library. We have books about the Everything Organize Your Home book. We have books about the ultimate guide to vintage Star Wars action figures. Maybe you have some of these and you want to see what they're worth, or you want to, maybe you have a few and you want to collect more. The Art of Happy Moving, How to Declutter, Pack, and Start Over while maintaining your sanity and finding happiness. So there's lots of fun books about maybe downsizing your home. Maybe you have to move into a smaller apartment or a different house as well. There's also books about collectibles and antiques, toys and toy prices. We have books on that, as well as just all kinds of collection handbooks. There's Marble Collector's Handbook. And please don't forget, we are still doing our Winter Reading Challenge all the way through the end of February. So be sure to turn in your reading logs here that you have been reading all winter long and you've been writing down the titles. Please turn these into your activity directors or give them to me if I deliver to you. And you can also send them into the library if you need to. So just make sure that you have your name on it, and on the back there's your choices of gift cards. If you would be, your name would be pulled in the drawing. $10 Walmart gift card, $10 Kroger gift card, or $10 Bob Evans gift card. So again, this Winter Reading Challenge is going on through the end of February. So that's all I have for you, because we are going to be doing our program Tuesday, February 23rd at 2 o'clock. So I hope to see everyone there on our Zoom program, and bring that item that means the most to you and we will talk about it. Great, thank you.